Hey y'all, Bloodwing here, back to bring some grumpiness to your internet. And welcome back to Redneck Radio, the live stream where you get an extra side helping of fried potatoes and onions. That's what I'm in the mood for today. Oh, that sounds good. With me as always is Irate Bear.
Hello, everybody. I hope you're all well today.
Yeah. I hope you're having a good Saturday. For those of you that work, hope you're off today.
How are you, Mr. Wing?
Oh, not too bad. Not too bad. Like I was telling you before the stream, is it's a little warm in the house because we're at that time of the year where it's not warm enough to turn the air on, but not cold enough to turn the furnace on. So
yeah.
And in my neighborhood, you don't want to open the windows because you don't know what you'll hear.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It also probably acts as a shield for some questionable items that might come flying through the window, I bet.
Well, we had something hit the front door today, and we couldn't figure it out. The closest thing we can think is maybe a bird hit the door, the front storm door. Something hit it with a bang. My wife and I were just sitting here. I was looking at Twitter, and she was trolling Facebook, and all of a sudden, bam, on the front door.
Did it make you jump out of your skin?
That's against doctor's orders to be doing any jumping. but yeah, I flinched pretty good, and I looked at her, and she looked at me, and like, I don't know. And so she went out and checked it. She had to go out the back because, well, as you all know, we have to keep our front door tied shut because it's busted.
Yeah.
But yeah, couldn't find anything. So the most we could figure out is a bird probably hit it. Hey, yeah. Pat, good to see you, buddy.
What's going on, Pat? I hope you're all right, mate. There's a dislike on the stream. Duck Dog must be here. Where is he? There he is.
He's there.
There he is.
As soon as you dislike, you know he's there. Hey, Nuts, good to see you. Nuts, I've said it before and I'll say it again, is one of the best YouTube moderators out there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Nuts is good because she shills stuff as well.
Yeah, boy.
And she spanks people when they're naughty.
And which reminds me, please like and share the stream because, you know, YouTube don't help us out with that anymore. And if you want to go a step further and can, there's also, you can use Super Chat. There's also links to my Streamlabs and my Patreon in the description. Hello, Mama Minnie, my daughter of mine.
International sister. What's happening? What's happening? What have you been up to today, mate?
Oh, about 6 foot. Nah, not too much. Just kind of being lazy, which has been the story for the last 2 weeks because, you know, you all know I'm on doctor's orders for bed rest, so not a whole lot I can do.
Yeah.
But as I was saying on Twitter earlier to oh, doggone it. My brain just, his avatar is a polar bears from Canada.
Oh, Egal.
Egal. Yeah, I was talking to Egal, and boy, I miss him. We had a lot of good time. But anyway, I never thought I would ever get tired of being lazy, but yeah, I'm getting real tired of it.
That's fair enough, mate. That's fair enough. I've been binging Animu again as usual, and just responding to comments and stuff over on the second channel.
Oh,
yeah,
that's got to be fun.
Well, I mean, I like the anime that I'm currently watching, which is Tokyo Ghoul, if anybody wondering. And I did a video on Prince Harry saying that he thinks that Fortnite should be banned.
Yeah,
that was quite a fun video to make. Had a lot of fun making that. Released it yesterday.
Did you tell him he was stupid?
Yeah. You know, I pointed out that, you know, if these kids don't need Fortnite, then the royal family doesn't need a ginger. You know. But I had a lot of fun making that video. A lot of fun making that video. So
Pat says same here. That and trying to build a Discord. Good luck, Pat.
Yeah, good luck with that, mate.
I've got a small Discord. It's just a private one that a few people and I get together and talk on now and again. But I get calls to make a regular Discord, open to the public, but I don't want that responsibility of keeping up with that.
Did you happen to want the Prince Harry story?
Well, sure.
I'll just grab it for you now, and then maybe we can go through it. So I'll grab the one from the BBC. That'll do. Did you want me to read it now or wait a bit?
You can read it now if you like to. Sure.
Okay. I shall just move the chat out of the way so I can see it. Fortnite. Is Prince Harry right to want game banned? No.
No. Short answer. No.
Banning here in this country, we'd like to ban everything. And guess what? It doesn't work.
No.
It doesn't work.
Look at for the biggest example of that, just look at the Prohibition era here in the United States. We had more alcohol flowing during that period of time than when it was legal.
Yeah, I mean, we banned guns quite some time ago. We had a mass shooting, and I think after that we pretty much just were like, right, that's it. No more guns. You can have one. It's just an extremely stringent process to go through. Right. You have to have like interviews with the police. You need to actually have a good reason to have one in their eyes, so on and so forth. But gun crime in 2017-18. Let me have a look. What is it at? The onus and analysis for individual police forces covers the year to the end of March 2018 and showed 6,521 firearms offences, a 2% rise. Well, it's almost as if banning stuff just doesn't work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Real quick before I forget to, Pat, if you want to share the link to your Discord in the chat, you're more than welcome to. Go ahead. You didn't ask, but I'm telling you can.
So this is from presumably the Home Office, and it has a nice little chart here. And it was at its absolute highest between 2004 2006. 2018, it was well above 6,000. So it's almost as if banning stuff doesn't work.
No.
You know, it's bloody ridiculous. Yeah, surprising amount of it comes from my neck of the woods. Well, it's not my neck of the woods, but where I currently live.
Yeah,
Southwest. That's interesting. In terms of changes, anyway. But okay, I'll go back over to the Fortnite story. Prince Harry has called for a ban on Fortnite, saying the survival game beloved by teenagers around the world was created to addict. Well, I mean, all games are created to get you addicted to them.
Right.
It's kind of how they get the money and build a community around their game and get the buzz going. I do live in Cheshire, Owen, which is in the northwest. His words add to a growing debate among health workers, governments, and lobby groups about whether gaming can be harmful to health. Well, the act of playing it probably isn't harmful to your health, but if you sit there for 3 days
and don't get up and eat or go to the bathroom, then yeah,
if you don't sleep, then that's probably gonna do some harm to you.
Look, it's like anything. You know, there's an old Bible verse, and no, I'm not going to preach at you, but there's an old Bible verse that says, "Honey is sweet, but too much of it gives you a bellyache."
Yeah,
you know, anything, even good things, can be bad for you in the wrong amounts.
Yeah, moderation for most things. For most things, don't try crack cocaine in moderation. It's not worth it. All right, could have sworn you said Southwest. No, I was looking through the chart that I had with regards to an increase and decrease in gun crime. And when I said my neck of the woods, I meant Northwest, and then said that there was an increase in the Southwest.
Yeah, it did kind of come off a little bit like you said you were in the Southwest because you said it real quick. But
Oh, my bad. My bad. The remarks come just before the Gaming BAFTA Awards, one of the biggest nights in the UK's gaming calendar, which take place in London on Thursday evening. So that was on Thursday. But is he right? Don't try crack cocaine. I rate bet. Not even a taste, Jack. Not even a taste.
Not even once.
Yeah, not even once. At an event at a YMCA in West London, the Duke of Sussex launched a scathing attack on social media and gaming. See, now social media I could get because that there is some science behind that, but I still, again, it's moderation. I don't want it banned.
Right.
It's still moderation. Of Fortnite, he said that game shouldn't be allowed. Where is the benefit of having it in your household? What do you mean? What is the benefit?
Games aren't made for benefit. It's entertainment.
Yeah.
I mean, you could take any form of entertainment and say, well, what's the benefit? Well, it entertains me. That's the only benefit that it's intended to have.
It's exactly a random American. Fun is the benefit. To release some steam, let off some steam, and have fun with your friends, I guess. It's created to addict, an addiction to keep you in front of a computer for as long as possible. It's so irresponsible. Harry, you don't seem to know anything about entertainment products. I mean, YouTube is kind of, set to function that way. It's supposed to keep you in front of it for as long as possible.
Yeah, I've done that, and I'm sure I can't be the only one. I'll sit and I'll go off on a tangent, watch this kind of video, and then follow the link, and the next suggested, and so on and so forth. And before I know it, it's 2 a.m. and I've done nothing but watch a bunch of YouTube videos.
Yeah. You have a super chat.
Yeah, thank you, Batman. The Batman, could America please accidentally nuke Brussels? Oops, our bad.
What is this foreign word, friends? You know what I mean. Warning: if playing games causes you to release actual steam, call a doctor immediately.
Yeah, you might have a problem.
Yeah. It's so irresponsible. Well, TV channels, they fill up their entire programming with programs that are ideal to keep you, that want you to stay in front of the TV for as long as possible.
Exactly.
Because they want you watching their stuff. It's exactly the same with games. Games are more interactive.
Grill and Pirate Pete's got kind of a point there. I think Harry got owned on Fortnite, so once it banned, so no one can make fun of him anymore. You think? I don't know.
I reckon it was the Queen who wrecked him.
Can you see the Queen sitting in front of a monitor playing a video game?
Take this, Harry.
Somebody's got to make that. Come on, somebody. I can't do an British accent, so I can't do it. But
you bloody ginger noob.
Oh,
that is not a bad idea for a video skit at all, actually. Yeah. He continues, it's like waiting for the damage to be done and kids turning up on your doorsteps and families being broken down. What?
Yeah.
I don't know what he's saying there. He added that social media was more addictive than alcohol and drugs. Have you ever tried crack cocaine or heroin? I'm fairly sure those things are considerably more addictive.
Oh yeah.
What do you want, boy? You can say hello to Bloodwing.
Hi, Bloodwing.
Hi, Alfie. How are you?
Bloodwing says, "Hi, Alfie. How are you?"
Fine, thank you. And the dog is barking.
Okay, go back up to bed. I'll tell the dog.
Barking.
Yeah, I'll be back in a second, mate.
All right. Real quick, got a super chat. Thank you, the Batman. The Queen plays GTA online. Can you imagine her smacking down some whores online? I mean, just the thought of that's cracking me up. Oh, you guys! I tell you what. So, how's the chat? Well, we got a minute to speak, just you and I for a minute. Oh, again, I hope everybody's having a good time. having an enjoyable day, you know, doing the things you like to do, or doing nothing if that's what it comes down to. Mama Minnie, oh, he's adorable. Love to manage your boy, dear brother. Yeah, he's quite the character.
Yes, he is, and
He's quite the character.
he has very, very good manners. He is my son, after all. He said, "Can I go on your computer to write something?" And I said, "No, mate, I'm live streaming." He went, "Okay, sorry about that."
Well, you know, to our American ears, you British sound so polite anyway. It's just your accent. You know, you sound so freaking polite. Like it's so proper.
Well, not all of us do. Some of us sound very rough.
Yeah.
Should I continue reading?
Yeah. Keep going.
And hello to you, little nigger. I hope you're well, mate. The game has become a global phenomenon. I can't say that word. Phenomenon. And the aim is simple: survive for as long as possible, whilst also, you know, killing everybody else. Each match has a total of 99 other players with the same goals and lasts around 20 minutes, depending on how successful you are. It has 200 million registered players worldwide and is free to download, but players can spend money on in-game purchases. They can also buy the PvE story mode if they want to as well. Players can play alone as part of a 4-person squad or a 20-member team, either with friends or people they do not know. What do doctors think? Earlier this month, a GP told an 11-year-old boy that he was prescribing a 2-week ban from computer games such as Fortnite and Minecraft. Surely it should be the parents doing it, but all right. Dr. Amir Khan said that he was concerned about the impact gaming was having on the boy's life. It was a light-hearted attempt to draw attention to a serious issue, but anecdotally, more doctors are seeing links between gaming and effects on both the physical and mental health of young people. That's because there are far too many parents out there that just want to stick the kid on a game and let them crack on.
Yep.
And it is not only youngsters who are affected. Research shows that 200 divorces in the UK from January to September 2018 mentioned addiction to Fortnite and other online games as one of the reasons for relationship breakdown. Well, those are adults and they have agency, and maybe they shouldn't have choose to opt playing a game rather than having a relationship.
Yeah, that's on them. You don't blame that on the game. That's on them.
Yeah.
That could have been anything that they put, you know, ahead of their significant other in a relationship.
And Batman brings up a good point and makes me remember my own childhood. Kids should not be allowed inside between the hours of sunrise and sunset.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Yeah, my mom kicked me out first thing in the morning, and I'd have to be outside most of the day.
Well, there was no such thing as video games and computers and whatnot when I was a little kid. Of course, you know, I was a kid in the 60s. But that's what you did. You got up and shoot. Half time I was outside before mom was even awake in summertime. You know?
I mean, I was exactly the same, really. I mean, I did have a Super Nintendo, but I still had a massive preference for being outside and climbing trees, building dens, and
we wouldn't come in till the streetlights were on, you know. And sometimes we didn't even come in then because for whatever reason, our yard was the yard all the neighborhood kids wanted to gather in. And we'd play out there till long after the streetlights were on with, you know, mom watching us.
Yeah, I knew it was time to go back in when I heard my mother's voice. Because, you know, I wasn't allowed to go too far away from the house, and and just outside my house was like a little bit of a green area, some trees, and then there was a huge field at the just like, I don't know, maybe 20-30 meters away from my house that I used to play on. So where always heard is Alex, and I'm like, okay, it's time to go home.
Yeah. Shoot, who you telling? I was 10 years old and was only allowed to ride my bicycle around my block and the block next to me. And that was it. And I better come by the house about every 10 minutes or so, or they were come looking.
Yeah. My mom was exactly the same, mate. Exactly the same.
But I was lucky on our block back in those days. It's changed now, but in those days there was a big wooded lot, that we could play in, and across the street, it's now warehouses, but across the street then was cornfields, and we had a lot of places to play.
Yeah. It's a shame, man, because if I was raising my boys in the area that I grew up in now, I wouldn't be able to let them do what I did.
Yeah. Of course, I look back at some of the things I did then, and it's a wonder I didn't break my neck.
Yeah, same. Where should I carry? There we are. However, Scottish University researcher Andrew Reid said he thought that the game was not addictive and suggested that using the term could stigmatize regular video game players. He added that some research showed positive characteristics of play. Of course, because there is research to show that, gaming can help hand-eye coordination and reaction time to things. So there are benefits to it. Yeah, the number of people that this is happening to is just a tiny fragment of the entire gaming population. So behave.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And that's all the moms back then on the block were community moms. You betcha. Because if I misbehaved with the neighbor's mom, guarantee she told my mom before I got home.
Yep.
And my mom gave him permission to whack the crap out of me. And then she'd whack me when I got home.
Hey, Jim Healers, we haven't spoken in a while. I hope you're well, mate. Who says these are the same people who blame guns for gun violence. Of course it is. Of course it is. I can't help but think. The thing is with Prince Harry, right? And I know a lot of people have said this. They said, "Oh, it's Meghan Markle whispering in his ear because she's like a Hollywood leftist and stuff like that." And I am definitely inclined to agree with you. I certainly would agree that she probably is whispering in his ear, and she has caused a lot of trouble for the royal family since she got here.
Yep.
But Prince Harry has always been a big advocate for mental health and has done a lot of good work for veterans. So, don't discount all of that just because he's saying some stupid shit about
you. He does. But he's always struck me as not having quite the good public sense as his brother.
No, he really doesn't. But you have a super chat from Cryptic.
Yeah. Hey, thanks, Cryptic, for the donation. Let's be real, Barry. Your mother didn't let you out at night because she wouldn't be able to find your dark. If he smiled.
More like I would better see her come in. She's a lot darker than me. And to be fair, even though my mum's been disabled for pretty much my entire life, she still moved really quick. So,
oh Lord, yeah. My mom was always on the heavy side, but boy, she could move quicker than the eye when the occasion arose.
Yeah. My mum used to be a big lady too, man, and she could move quick. And yes, Prince Harry. Well, technically, I'm pretty sure Prince Harry's still serving. Although I don't know if he's left or not.
Whatever it is that's getting to him, he's wrong.
Yeah, he's wrong on this.
What cracks me up is that when I was a younger man, back in the 80s, it was the religious right that was against video games, and now it's come completely full circle, and it's the left.
Yeah, I find it odd that Prince Harry would take this stance, really. I mean, I thought most of his, charity or, work that pertains to this kind of thing would be to do with veterans. I mean, he's the one who created the Invictus Games, for Pete's sake.
Yeah. Yeah, my daughter, Mama Minnie, says nothing more scary than my grandmother angry. Yeah, she knows. She got a knot jerked in her tail a time or two. Thank you, the Batman. Irate mother used to turn out the lights and pretend she'd moved when he went out to play.
Should I continue reading?
Yeah.
There are plenty of gamers who play for long periods of time and say it has no impact on their wider social lives or health, but some have had enough. Matus Mikas joined Game Quitters, an online forum made up of thousands of people who have turned their backs on games after his relationship broke down because he was spending too much time gaming. Mate, you sound like a cuck. Like,
yeah,
you can't just put it down. You don't have to quit games completely. I don't get it. You don't have to go completely teetotal. Do you lack so much discipline that you just completely cut it off?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh my God.
Random
Ah.
American, happy shopping and hurry back. Also, just a word of warning, I'm hurting a little bit. You may not be able to tell it by my voice because I'm pretty good at hiding it, but I'm going to have to take a pain pill, folks. So if I get a little loopy by the end of the stream, you've been warned.
It's funny. There's a link below that paragraph that says, "I ignored my children to play video games."
Yeah.
James Good is a self-confessed gaming addict, once spending 32 hours playing without a break. The problem led to him falling behind at university. My grades were slipping as a result of playing too many games. I didn't eat, sleep, or leave my room. I escaped my problems via games. And he's what?
And again, it's on the parents.
Well, I don't. He says his problems, but like, what problems were these? And he said the effect of playing was triggering physical responses. Games fire up response systems in your brain, and other things don't bring you as much joy. He told the MPs, "I was thinking, why would I spend time with my friends when I can play games? It felt good to get points, trophies, beat people. It fueled my competitiveness, but I realized I wasn't truly happy." All right, we'll play a different game then, and
yeah,
at the weekend or something.
Yeah.
For a couple of hours.
And Adam Mangold is correct. It's not the game's fault, you douche.
Yeah,
it's not. It's your own for not being able to back away and say enough's enough.
And I said this in my video, and I'll say it again. When it comes to the gaming industry and stuff, like if we want to apply a critical eye to anything, then maybe we could look at things like loot boxes and like the gambling aspect of it, where you don't really know what's going to be in the package, and you make an in-game purchase and you don't know what's in it, and kids especially somehow end up spending their allowance or whatever, or adults spending their allowance on it, and it not being particularly fair. I mean, there was that big there was that big bit of drama on YouTube 2 years ago, if you remember, with the CS:GO skins. It was a big you had two big gaming YouTubers who actually had stocks in these gaming loot box casino things on Steam.
Right.
And that's the reason why they got in trouble, because they were promoting it and whilst also having stakes in it, and they'd actually messed with the likelihood that they messed with the odds of the game. So they made videos and then made it out as if they were winning these things.
Yeah,
it's a bit naughty. I'm fairly sure they're still under investigation by the FBI for that. The T. Martin drama. Yeah, those were the days. The days.
Yeah, the Batman says, "Blubbing, my cousin's youngest only lets his kids have 2 hours a night on their Xbox. Good for him, or her, or whatever it is. The parents should have a little control over what the kids are doing."
Yeah,
come on, folks, get involved in your kid's life. It's worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. Or you could play video games with them.
Well, yeah, that's always been a very big part of my son Jay Kid's and I's relationship, is we've always played video games together ever since he was fairly young, and we still do to this day. He's 35.
Yeah, I think we can all agree when it comes to loot boxes in particular that there is some scummy behavior, being carried out by big publishers like EA, and I would certainly be happy if we were to have independent bodies take a look at that.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, though, on the other side of the argument, if your kid gets hold of your credit card, then you need to start hiding your friggin' credit cards.
Yeah, we had a little issue like that once upon a time, but it was because our credit card information was saved on an old cell phone that my grandson got a hold of.
Yeah.
And
Alfie did it with Vanilla Bear's card the other day somehow. I don't know how he'd managed to do it, but he did it.
As soon as we figured out what happened, we got a bill. It's like, we didn't buy this. You know, it was like buying coins for some game or something.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we didn't do this. And how did this happen? And when we figured it all out, we was like, yeah, okay, don't do that. Because, you know, little kids, they don't have a sense that, oh, well, this is a magic card. It just buys everything and nobody knows. You know, they don't know.
Yeah. I think if I remember now, Alfie got into Vanilla Bear's phone.
Yeah.
And made a couple app purchases. Well, don't let him play with it then.
Yeah.
She got so mad. She got really, really mad. It's like, well, don't leave your phone loafing. That's why mine's in my pocket.
Yeah.
And
my grandkids play with a lot of phones because we got a lot of old phones around the house, you know, that'll still connect to the internet, but they won't call out, you know, kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they knew they didn't touch Papa's phone. Nope. It's not to be played with. And that's one of the reasons I purposely kept it with only one game. There's only one game on my phone and not one that they would care about. That's Mahjong.
Oh, I thought he was going to say Snake for a second there.
No, I play a little bit of Mahjong before bed every night. It helps me relax.
Okay, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. Did you want to start going through your news?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. In fact, we'll just approach the title, and I'm sure a lot of you've probably figured out what I'm talking about. The stream title. My accent is contagious, y'all. AOC, who shall be forever known from this point forward as Crazy Eyes Mule Teeth. That's what I'm going to call her from here on out. Crazy Eyes Mule Teeth. AOC mocked for accent at Sharpton event compared to Hillary Clinton.
I saw that video and it made me laugh a lot.
Oh, it's cringy.
Yeah, it is.
Oh gosh.
I just hate the way she stood up there and tried to mimic like a typical Black American accent.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And the thing is, like, every time that she made a point, like, she was kind of like waiting a few seconds to get a cheer or an applause or something after every point, and there was the audience was just silent.
U.S. Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Democrat, New York, faced backlash Friday after seeming to develop a new accent while speaking to a predominantly Black audience in New York City. In an appearance at the annual convention of the Reverend Al Sharpton's National Action Network, the freshman congresswoman responded to those who've invoked her past employment as a bartender in what she said were attempts to delegitimize her status as an elected official. I'm proud to be a bartender. Ain't nothing wrong with that, Ocasio-Cortez said. There's nothing wrong with working retail, folding clothes for other people to buy. There's
you have to do the accent.
There's nothing wrong with preparing the food that the neighbors will eat. There's nothing wrong with driving the buses that takes your family to work. There's nothing wrong with being a working person in the United States of America.
I don't exactly disagree with her, but it's just the way that she put it across.
And there is everything dignified about it. It's not the fact that you worked as a bartender, sweetheart. It's that you worked as a bartender less than a year ago. And it's just to point out that you're highly unqualified for what you're doing right now. But, you know, of course, I don't expect her to get that. She added that she feels encouraged when people remind her of her past because it shows that if she can work in a restaurant and become a member of the United States Congress, so can you. Well, of course.
Well, she went to college.
But let's was
that not her part-time job while she was learning at college?
Yeah.
That's not the same thing.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Many on Twitter, however, said that they detected that Ocasio-Cortez seemed to be speaking with a different accent. And it shows several tweets. Some even compared the self-described Democratic Socialist to former presidential candidate Hillary Clinton, whose dialect also seemed to shift on the campaign trail when speaking to different audiences.
Yeah, but that was probably just Hillary falling apart.
Yeah, probably. And, you know, to be fair, if I'm hanging around, let's say I go home to Kentucky for a while, you know, and I've got an accent now, but you should hear me when I've been down there for a few days. Come back, because it does rub off. It does. I come back. You all probably couldn't understand me.
It's the same for me, man. Whenever I'm speaking to my mom or someone from where I grew up, my accent shifts back to what it used to be.
Yeah, you know, I'll give you that much, but that's not what's happening here. Ocasio-Cortez took to Twitter to respond to the criticism, pointing to her upbringing in the Bronx and explaining that she talks differently when she's fired up. As much as the right wants to distort and deflect, I am from the Bronx. I act and talk like it, especially when I'm fired up and especially when I'm home, Ocasio-Cortez tweeted. It is so hurtful to see how every aspect of my life is weaponized against me, yet somehow asserted as false at the same time. Well, sweetheart, I'm no linguistics expert by any means, but I'm pretty sure that a Bronx accent sounds nothing like a Southern accent.
Yeah.
Like, not even close.
Yeah.
So you were faking it. Come on, you just as well admit it. I get what you were doing, and it's okay. You were trying to appeal to the audience you were talking to.
Owen brings up a good point, and I think it can be applied across the board for Dems in their behavior in general whenever they're dealing with minorities, saying a lot of Dems do this, start dropping y'alls whenever they're addressing a largely black crowd so patronizing. That's exactly what they are. Exactly what they are.
Exactly. I mean,
the left does it over here as well, man. They don't put on the accents and stuff because it would be very obvious if a British person tried to switch over to like a Caribbean accent or something. But in general, their policies and the way that they act towards minorities is incredibly patronizing.
Yeah. I mean, obviously I have an accent. It would be foolish of me to try to deny it. It's pretty obvious. But with me, if I say y'all, that's just the way I talk. But she doesn't talk like that all the time. I do. And yeah, it's pretty patronizing. And honestly, if I was the audience they're listening to her, I would probably feel I might be tempted to be a little offended at it. Like, yeah, stop that.
It's really cringy.
Oh, it is. It's
really, her behavior is just awful.
It is. It is. And maybe it's that the Dems think that's what they've got to do is patronize the audience that they talk to.
I'd love to hear Boris Johnson do a Scouse accent. I say the busies are coming around, la.
Yeah, your boy Pat says a patronizing condescender is worse than a white supremacist. I agree. Yeah, absolutely, I agree. But yeah, there you have it. I don't know how that was the defense of what she done by saying that she's from the Bronx and I talk like it when I'm here. Well, you weren't talking like you were from the Bronx. You were talking with an obviously fake Southern accent.
Oh gosh, she's so cringy.
She is, and it just amazes me that she even got elected. It just really does. I'm like, good grief. I don't know a lot about her constituents, that she's responsible for, but good grief. Did they have blinders on? Were they dumb? What?
I don't know. Could be a tribalistic thing. I don't know. In-group, out-group kind of thing. Maybe.
I suspicion that she got elected more out of identity politics than anything else.
Yeah, skin color. Sorry.
She's Puerto Rican, I think, and she's a woman and young. And she's somewhat versed in the internet, uses Twitter and all that. And so.
And a lot of people probably would put their willies in her.
Probably. I wouldn't. Yeah. Her eyes are too crazy.
I would.
No.
I fucking hurt her as well.
You look at them eyes and there's just, they got crazy written all over it.
I like crazy bitches.
No, 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 no.
Should we take in turns with these articles?
Sure, sure.
Okay. You're going to love this one. There are no black people on Game of Thrones. Why is fantasy TV so white? Well, first of all, there are black people in Game of Thrones, for a start. And they tend to live on the hotter continent, just as it is in real life.
Yeah.
And there are a couple that do live in Westeros, which is obviously based off the UK's shape in general. But it's fantasy. Whenever people write about fantasy stuff and like medieval and whatnot, they think castles, ancient England, and Europe. Think castles and moats and kings and queens. There were no black people in Europe around that time.
Yeah, not that I recall. I mean, when you talk about the Black Knight, you're not talking about the color of his skin.
There are black people in Game of Thrones. All right, there are people of all shades in Game of Thrones. Actually, you have the hotter continent. You have your black people. You have your like Arab type people. Why?
And you have the super, super, super white walkers.
Yeah. I mean, can they even be classed as white? I mean, they're a bit more blue, if anything.
Yeah, yeah.
The genre has a problem with diversity. No, it doesn't. And George R.R. Martin's series is no exception, but some feel its omissions reflect reality. Well, because the continent in Game of Thrones kind of does reflect reality.
Yeah.
I mean, Westeros is kind of like two UKs chopped in half and turned upside down. And then the big ass continent to the right of it, like Essos and stuff, is like your a bit of Africa, a bit of, you know, the Arab nations and stuff like that. That's real life.
Yeah. I mean, come on, folks, listen. I get what some of you at least are trying to do if your heart's in the right place with diversity. I get that. I don't agree with it, but I get it. Okay. But that's not always reality. Give you an example here where I live. Up until maybe 20 years ago, you never seen a black person or a person of Hispanic origin or anything in this neighborhood. It was all white. That's just what it was. And that was my reality. So if you were to make a movie or a video game about my reality, it would be all white. You know, nothing exclusive about it. It's just that was my reality.
Jason Momoa, who played Khal Drogo,
right?
Who also plays Aquaman. Watch up. Is that in the cinemas or is it out now?
Oh, it's been out, I think. For
he's Hawaiian. He was born in Honolulu.
Yeah.
That's not white.
Yeah. Thank you, Cryptic, for the donation. Darkies aren't real. Turn off the lights.
Thank you very much, Cryptic, and to everybody else who chooses to support Bloodwing. Guys, I really do appreciate it. Of course, drop a like on the stream, share it, and of course, if you want to throw some money at him via Streamlabs, that'd be even better. Got to go to work now. Bear might not remember, but there's this thing called overtime. Fuck you. And I got to go to work and make some of that sweet overtime money. I'm looking for a job. Leave me alone. Is it because there's no like leading black characters, even though like Daenerys' characters, the people who work for her, I forget their names. The girl and the guy without the balls.
Oh, I mean, it might be
Missandei and Grey Worm. That's it. They're black.
Thank you to Batman. Diversity is not our strength. Unity is. Yeah, I can't disagree with that.
Oh my god! Obviously, it's like a medieval thing. A black man is not going to be king in a friggin' on a huge land mass that is based off the UK, where everybody's mostly white.
Yeah.
That there wasn't diversity and multiculturalism back then. I'm afraid. I'm sorry, but even though this is fantasy, it's still based off of medieval kings and queens and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm fairly sure Game of Thrones is loosely based off of the War of the Roses.
At least loosely, I would think. There's a lot of similarities.
Yeah. This month, the biggest TV show in the world returns. Yay! For one final dragon-slaying, wall-topping, throne-nabbing season. In the time since it last aired, memes have been shared, elaborate theories have been devised, and revised bets have been laid. Lyanna Mormont for the win, and cosplay outfits have been lovingly stitched. Yet there is one aspect that is yet to receive adequate attention. Game of Thrones, great show, but is it racist? Well, no, it's not racist.
No. And I've heard the same thing said about Tolkien's.
Is that because of the orcs?
Yeah, the Lords of the Ring, and that there is not inclusive enough. Well, think about when Tolkien wrote that. He started those stories in the early part of the last century.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're just never happy. It amazes me, the regressives. I'm not saying all liberals and all leftists, but the regressive faction don't ever seem to be happy. And if they've got nothing to be unhappy about, they invent something.
Yeah. It's just so stupid. It really is. I don't know. As if my experience would be improved by having a black version of Tyrion. Whatever. This much should have been obvious from way back when the very first episode aired in 2011. It was clear then that showrunners David Benioff and D.B. Weiss envisioned their world as a white one. Or maybe it's just based on the books.
Yeah.
The majority of the action took place in Westeros. George R.R. Martin's skewed spin on medieval Britain and the West, where the fair-haired, fair-skinned Lannisters engaged in a generations-long power struggle with the darker-haired, fair-skinned Starks. People of color were not absent from the show, but they were relegated to its cartographical margins. Well, that's because that's where they probably live in those times.
Right.
I don't want to read. Fuck this show. Fuck this article as well. I'm not reading it.
I do agree. Peter Dinklage is Tyrion. Yeah, he is by hands down my favorite on the show. I haven't watched it in a very long time because I don't get that channel on cable. But yeah, when I was able to watch it, he was hands down my favorite.
Yeah, I like him as well. I think he's Tyrion is just such a great character. And I don't think anybody could have played him better than Peter Dinklage.
No, he's awesome.
Yeah,
he is awesome. And before I get to the next story, I'm gonna have to visit the little boy's room. So if anybody guessed, what is it? 45 minutes? Something thereabouts.
49.
Yeah, you are the winner. I'll be right back.
Alrighty, what's going on, chat? I hope you're all well. I hope you're having a nice weekend. It is based. You haven't got to put it in all caps, Lindsay. I can see. It's based on medieval history, which are predominantly white. You fucking dolls. Yeah, absolutely. That's what I don't get about it. And how long ago, did George R.R. Martin even come up with the idea to start Weeb Takeover now? I have been watching Tokyo Ghoul. I'm on the third season now. I'm on the third season, episode 4, I think. But no, George R.R. Martin must have started writing Game of Thrones a long ass time ago. And if he is going to be based, if he's using Great Britain and things like the War of the Roses as a kind of base for writing his story, then yeah, most people are going to be friggin' white, aren't they? He still has included other areas of the world. He's got people that are akin to like Spaniards in the south and whatnot. He's got Arabs, he's got black people. I don't see how that in itself is unrealistic. You would it's Westeros is based off of the UK. The UK wasn't multicultural back then. I mean, you do occasionally get the odd black guy on Westeros because they've traveled by sea and stuff, but that's realistic. It wouldn't be kind of realistic, would it? Thing is, why can't we have an all-white show or an all-black show? I really do not see a problem with it. Well, that's it, isn't it? That's it. It's everything has to be multicultural now. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't see how it would improve, the show overall. And then this is kind of like the representation thing. I still don't understand the idea of representation. I don't understand why you need, like with police officers, for example. It's in my county, Cheshire, where they're putting in a big effort to recruit people of color to become police officers. Why do you need to have people who look like you as police officers to feel safe? And it's the same thing with TV. Why can't you enjoy a TV show because of their skin color, because they don't look like you? When I watch a TV show, I'm looking for good story, good acting.
Yep.
And
here's the thing I was thinking while I was off taking a leak. Speaking of Peter Dinklage, there's something the progressives should be able to hang their hat on, because here you have a person that, what's the term they prefer to be called now? Dwarf, person.
I don't know.
Whatever. That has historically in TVs and movies have been used to represent buffoons, or at the very least comic relief. And here he is portraying a very strong lead character. You'd think they'd be able to hang their hat on that, but nah.
Yeah. Unsized, I like that.
Yeah, unsized, yeah.
I mean, if a writer wants to have a multicultural thing and it makes sense, if it's like a modern show, then sure. But if you're going for medieval, it wouldn't really make sense. At least in my mind, it would feel kind of forced, maybe. Like, hey,
oh, thank you, James Colley. These MFers have never read the books. R.R. Martin said Slavers Bay had all races as slaves. In the show, Slavers Bay was filmed in Morocco. When the casting call went out, you're going to get a crap load of brown people be extras. Yeah.
Oh, I watched that interview with George R.R. Martin. There's a video where he gets a couple of these questions, and that's exactly how he explained it. Because it's a lot easier to write it in a book, but translating that to a TV show, and obviously Game of Thrones is filmed all over the world in different places to suit the scene, and you're not going to import a bunch of white people all the way from Ireland or something to go to friggin' Morocco, are you?
Nope.
Game of Thrones costs enough as it is.
Oh, I have no idea what the budget of that show is, but it has to be astronomical.
Let me have a look. Game of Thrones budget. Let's have a look. Because each episode is pretty much a movie almost.
Yeah.
Let's have a look. Between 2012 and 2015, the average budget per episode increased from $6 million to at least $8 million. The sixth season budget was over $10 million per episode, for a season total of over $100 million.
Jiminy Christmas.
That's a lot of money.
That's a heck of a lot of money, but they make that back and more.
Oh yeah, they do. They they can go to all the cons. They can sell all the merchandise, DVDs, deals with Now TV, because I'm fairly sure that's the only streaming service.
Recently on Twitter, I've been seeing advertisements with an I think it's a vodka company.
Yeah.
With Game of Thrones.
Yeah, of course it sponsors.
Yeah.
You know, it's a lot of money. Got to keep them costs down.
Absolutely. Yeah, like I said, they're just never happy. The regressives are never happy. You know, my grandmother, Mammy, and God love her, I loved her to death. She's my gun-toting Kentucky grandma, literally. But she was one of them people that she was only happy when she was unhappy. You know,
I feel you. I feel you.
And yeah, a lot of people walked on her, took advantage of her, but it's because she let them. You know, that gun. Anyway,
yeah, your turn. Your turn.
Next story: New York man charged with threatening to assault and kill Representative Ilhan Omar.
Really?
Yeah, I wondered how long it was going to take for some right-wing nut job. I assume he's probably right-wing. Let's see. I haven't read the article.
Well, let's have a goosey gander.
A New York man is in custody after having been arrested and charged with threatening to assault and murder Representative Ilhan Omar, according to the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Western District of New York. Patrick W. Carlino Jr., 55, of Addison, New York, threatened to kill Omar because of her Muslim faith, according to a criminal complaint and accompanying affidavit. Omar, a Minnesota Democrat, is one of the first two Muslim women serving in Congress after being elected in the 2018 midterms. A call was placed to Omar's Washington, D.C. office on March 21st, an FBI agent stated in the affidavit. During the call, an individual who identified himself as Pat Carlino said to a staff member, "Do you work for the Muslim Brotherhood? Why are you working for her? She's an expletive terrorist. I'll put a bullet in her expletive skull." And he gave his name. This guy's got more problems than this.
This sounds dodgy. He gave his name?
Yeah, apparently he gave his name and then proceeded to threaten them. Omar's office referred the threat to the U.S. Capitol Police, which began an investigation with the FBI. Carlino sounded angry during the call, but provided the spelling of his name and contact information, the affidavit said. Ooh, boy. He was later interviewed by authorities where he stated that he was a patriot, that he loves President Donald Trump, and that he hates radical Muslims in our government, the affidavit stated. He had initially claimed he had told Omar's office if our forefathers were still alive, they'd put a bullet in her head. When shown an email with the quote from the cell regarding calling Omar a terrorist and threatening to kill her, Carlino first replied that is not what he had said, according to the affidavit. He later admitted to authorities he may have said something like that, but was unsure. Carlino made an initial appearance Friday before a U.S. magistrate judge and is being held pending a detention hearing next Wednesday, according to the Elmira Star Gazette newspaper. CNN has reached out to both a lawyer representing Carlino and a friend for comment. Omar has drawn controversy for several of her comments since coming to Congress, after Omar said that support for Israel was motivated by donations from the American Israel Public Affairs Committee, several House Democrat leaders calling the comments anti-Semitic and offensive. She later apologized. She also drew criticism when she later said pro-Israel lobbyists pushed members of Congress to pledge allegiance to a foreign country. And then under that, it's got correction. This story has been updated to correct the state Omar represents. They must have had it wrong.
I'm extremely suspicious of this story.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's funny because she's in the shit, isn't she? Because she's been caught out fudging budget campaign funds, hasn't she?
That's Cortez.
No, it's her as well.
Oh, is it? I hadn't heard that. But, not surprising. I'm surprised that threats haven't been issued before now. I mean, with the comments that she has made, is pretty inflammatory. And there are nut jobs out there, both right and left wing. You know, so I'm actually surprised they haven't come before now. But in this particular case, I don't doubt that he said something threatening, but yeah, I'm doubting that it come down exactly the way they're saying that it came down.
Yeah, Grilling Pirate Pete said she used campaign funds to pay for the divorce from her brother / husband. Yeah, it like she gave the money to like her brother or something.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, this does sound a little fishy on that. I have no doubts that he called, and probably what it sounds like, because he's talking about he doesn't remember, he probably went off. You know, he let his anger get the best of me and went off.
Mm.
But was it as threatening as they're representing it? That's where my doubt comes in. You know.
Yeah, I'm very, very suspicious of this.
Yeah. Because if not, this guy's really stupid because he gave his name and contact information and even verified it with them.
Yeah, I mean, that is the biggest red flag of them all, really.
Yeah. And like Pat says, that's my feelings on it. Sounds fishy, but could have happened. Yeah, it is possible. Like I said, I'm surprised it hasn't happened before now because there are nut jobs both on both sides of the political spectrum.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And you're going to hear from them from time to time.
Yeah. Absolutely. But it is very suspicious. Well, we'll have to wait and see.
Yep.
We'll have to wait and
follow
see.
that.
Should I do one now?
Yeah.
Detroit police officer attends breathalyzer training intoxicated. A Detroit police officer attended a Michigan State police training class with alcohol in his system, officials confirmed. WXYZ TV Channel 7 reported that the training took place Thursday, and Detroit police chief told the TV station that an internal investigation would be conducted. The bottom line is that he showed up to work under the influence of alcohol, Craig told the television station. This was a Michigan State police training. He blew a .08. Certainly that's a problem. It's a problem for me, and it may be a problem on how it was handled after that. The officer was not disciplined by MSP at the event. Metro Detroit set to enjoy 60-degree temperatures this weekend. Oh, okay. It just kind of goes off on one about other shit. But yeah, that's funny. It kind of reminds me of that video when the police tried to give a guy a breathalyzer and he tries to drink out of it.
Oh, yeah. I think I've seen that.
Yeah, it's funny.
Let's see. I'm trying to scroll through. I did take a look at these beforehand, but as usual, I forgot what I saw. So if you've got another story available, go ahead.
I do.
Yeah, go ahead.
Russian Defense Ministry claims troops are trained to use telepathy in combat.
Telepathy in combat?
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Oh, God. It's like claims that dictators make. Like, what's his face? Kim Jong-un saying that he cured AIDS or something. Psychic powers learned by training with dolphins can be used to bring down an enemy. A Russian Defense Ministry report claims. Exactly, the men who stare at goats, that's right. The Russian army has trained psychic special forces, watch out America, to use telepathy in combat, according to the country's defense minister. A report published in the official magazine of the Russian Ministry of Defense, Armeysky Sobornik Army Digest, explains that fighters are taught to defeat the enemy with non-contact methods by training with dolphins. Parapsychological skills were perfected by soldiers while fighting in Chechnya, the article said.
Real quick, Cynical Lindsay, the hashtag is in the description. I don't have my keyboard in my lap because it's uncomfortable for me right now. But
yeah, Starks. I think you can post links in the chat now, by the way, without having a wrench.
Yeah.
Only their bears have psychic powers. Can confirm. Can confirm. Yeah, is that how they control Trump? Must be. Must be. Parapsychological is Parapsychology is the study of paranormal and psychic phenomena, including clairvoyance and telepathy. Telepathy can be used for commanding foreign languages, the report claims, and can reduce the amount of pain felt by a wounded colleague and locate caches of enemy weapons. Apparently. Non-verbal integration is also apparently possible through telepathy. Fighters can see right through the enemy soldier, what kind of person they are, what their weak and strong sides are, and whether they can be recruited as a spy. Is this from Command and Conquer, Red Alert? Because
I don't know. I'm getting this vision. This probably won't be familiar to you, Bear, but the Americans in the audience, it will be. Way back in the day, Johnny Carson of the Tonight Show, that done the Tonight Show for years and years and years and years, used to have a recurring character that he had. It was called the Amazing Karnak, that wore this great big huge turban on his head, and he'd do this whole act, like he was a mind reader. It was just hilarious. And I'm just getting this picture of Carson in this getup with his hand to his forehead trying to oh Lord.
This is ridiculous. I'm like, these are units that you get in Command and Conquer Red Alert. The veracity of interrogations is practically 100%, apparently. Experiments are said to have been carried out, such as trying to read documents in a foreign language that have been locked inside a safe. Oh, come on. Really? I thought this kind of thinking was only reserved for lunatics and dictators. The article adds, by force of thought, it is possible to shut down computer programs, burn crystals in generators, listen in on conversations, and disrupt radio and telecommunications. You're telling me you can jam communications with your mind?
Hey, Yuri, what are you doing over there with your hands to your head? I'm disarming their tanks.
I'm trying to give this American soldier an overwhelming urge to eat a cheeseburger. Oh, good God.
Yes, I know my Russian accent sucks. I'm just one of the people, I can't do any accent but my own.
The next bit is quite good. But Yevgeny Alexandrov, who chairs the Russian Academy of Sciences Committee for Combating False Science, told Russian news outlet RBK that parapsychological warfare tactics were complete rubbish. Yeah, no shit. Go home, Ivan, you're sober. That's funny. Yeah. Such research did indeed exist and was developed in the past, but it was made secret. Now it's being brought out into the light again, but such research is recognized as a false science.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously.
Pat says you two are worse than Ocasio-Cortez. He's talking about accents. I'll take that as a compliment. Thank you.
Yeah, but we're not trying to sell something to people. Das for Daniel. Shall I read another one?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Cardiff dad wants unisex baby change facility law.
Do what now?
Basically, there's a dad in Wales, in Cardiff, that wants unisex baby change rooms, in public, because presumably it's usually expected that these changing rooms, baby change rooms, are for females and not for men to go into. And he's obviously had to do the changing kind of stuff elsewhere. But I'll read the article.
Okay.
Changing his son on a wheelie bin lid and in a car boot has led one father to call for baby changing facilities in public places to be accessible for both men and women. I don't know where he's getting this from, because I've used one of those before. Yeah. Although sometimes Does it have the little female symbol on these doors? I can't remember. It's been that long. I'll continue. Tony Esposti wants the Welsh Assembly to make all new and renovated public buildings have unisex baby facilities. It follows an image, although mind you, I did have to change Alfie when he was a baby in the men's changing room. Yeah. Luckily, there was nobody in there at the time.
Yeah.
It follows an image of an American dad crouching down in a toilet changing a baby, went viral, inspiring the Squat for Change parental equality movement. It's 2019, said Mr. Esposti. He wants to know the right facilities will be available when he takes his 2-year-old son, Joseph, out for day trips without mum, Joanne. Mr. Esposti's campaign was sparked when he was forced to change Joseph on a seafront in West Wales because the cafe he was eating in only had baby changing facilities in the female toilets. Yeah, sometimes that is the case. Sometimes there isn't.
Pretty much here in America, that's the way that it is. Now it's coming around a little more. You are seeing baby changing stations here and there pop up in the men's bathroom. But yeah.
Yeah, I come to think of it, I've never seen a baby changing room that had the male symbol on it. It was always female facilities only. In fact, I actually now remember being out with the missus and the kids, and her asking me to change him, and then me telling her that I couldn't because I couldn't go into that room because it was for females only.
Yeah. Zero the Heroes is the restaurant I work at, has baby changing tables in both men and women's bathrooms. Yeah, like I said, it is coming around. You're seeing it more and more, but yeah.
This is good. I'm glad at least one country's ahead of the game here.
Yeah. I get it and I understand it. And having raised kids and now working on grandkids, it would be handy to have them in the men's bathroom because you know sometimes it's dad that's got them. Sometimes it's papa that's got them.
Yeah.
You know.
After hashtag Squat for Change, really not the best hashtag, to be honest with you, started trending on social media last year when Dante Palmer's picture raised awareness of a lack of changing facilities in male toilets. Mr. Esposti tweeted his own baby changing frustrations. Mr. Esposti, 35, a computer engineer from Cardiff, said, "Not having baby changing facilities accessible to both women and men is so easily solved. Essentially, it's just a table." Well, pretty much it is, yeah. This guy's stealing women's work. Mr. Esposti added, "There are same-sex families which have 2 men, so I wouldn't know how they would cope with changing their baby. It's not just inconvenient for dad and their babies, but for other people around you who don't want to see a pooey nappy." We call them nappies here, not diapers. Yeah. When they are eating or just going about their business.
And you know, I've done that when my kids were small, long before. I'm not even sure they had women's changing stations back then. But when my kids were small, I've, be at a restaurant and, tried to, as quietly as possible, change the kid there in the booth at the restaurant or whatever,
I've had to do similar things. I think I took Alfie into the disabled toilets. Because at least then it'd just be me and him, and I haven't got to worry about anyone else coming in. Yeah, and there's a lot more room, but it's still rather difficult because it doesn't have a table as such. And I've had to do it because whenever I go to the Comic-Con near me, which is in Wales, funnily enough, it's at a university, and luckily for me, when I took Alfie when he was a baby. Because it's a university and they have their own sports teams and stuff, they have proper changing facilities for these young adults to go get changed, and I had to change him on a bench in there,
Yeah.
But yeah, this is actually a good point. It's a good point.
Yeah. And of course, now this Papal is retired. I don't. My daughters don't let me, because the last time, and this is one of Mama Manny's kids, I think, the last time I changed, no, it wasn't, it was my youngest daughter's kid. Last time I changed one, I put it on backwards. I said, well, there's nothing that says front or back.
Well, I mean, the back bit is generally wider than the
It is.
front.
But, you know, between me, you, and the fence post, I've done it on purpose so they wouldn't ask me to do it anymore.
You have a super chat there.
Thank you, Pumpkin Trucker, for the donation. No change stations in the men's room? ? Use the customer service desk. There you go. Mom says it was backwards and it was mine. Yeah, I thought it was. I couldn't remember which kid it was, but I remember getting one on backwards.
Yeah, my mum told me about the old days when they had the old reusable diapers.
Yeah.
Oh, I do not envy.
Well, when I was a
people.
little kid, there was no such thing as disposable diapers. It was cloth diapers with plastic pants or nothing. You know.
Yeah.
You put the cloth diaper on them, and then over top of that went a pair of little plastic panties, kind of like, you know, to keep the water in. Now, when J-Kid was coming up, they did have Pampers and such things, of course. We tried to save money by going the cloth diaper route for a while. For a little while. It didn't take long before we said, this is too much trouble.
Well, I mean, you'd save money technically, but you know, you got to clean them, and that's no fun.
No, it's not any fun. You know, there's nothing less fun than rinsing out a dirty diaper in the toilet.
Okay, there's already enough work that you have to do with babies, like washing all their frigging bottles and sterilizing them by microwaving them and whatnot.
Yeah.
There's already enough work you have to do as it is as a parent. You definitely don't need that. Did you have any more news you wanted to read, mate? I do have some more.
Let's see here. I did have something, but what I do with it? Sorry. Trying to hurry up, and I guess I've lost it.
Okay, I'll read another one.
All right.
Babies aren't disgusting, Scotsman. Your problem is that you're a young man.
Yeah,
you'll feel different when you have your own.
Yeah. Oh, here it is. I got it. So after this, I've got it. Okay.
Shall I read that super chat for you then?
Thank you, Pumpkin Trucker. Bloodwing wears plastic panties. Perv. Not yet. Yeah, unfortunately, my dad has to wear the Depends at this point in his life, but I haven't got there yet. Okay, did you want me to go ahead with my story then, or?
Yeah. If you've got it up, mate. Yeah. Means I can stop for a cigarette.
To load.
Oh, hold on. All position ZWD checked. Safety chaff. That was a 5. Was that
a 5?
Yeah, I'd say maybe a 4.
Maybe a 4. Yeah, because I could barely hear it. So yeah,
it stinks. Oh my god, no. Oh no.
Don't you love it when your own farts stink you out?
Oh.
All right. A pro-gun activist lobbied for constitutional carry by showing up at Texas lawmakers' homes. Now the bill is DOA.
Say that again.
A pro-gun activist lobbied for constitutional carry by showing up at Texas lawmakers' homes. Now the bill is DOA, dead on arrival.
Well, why is he rocking up to people's houses?
I don't know. Let's find out. A Texas bill allowing gun owners to carry concealed firearms without a permit is now indefinitely stalled after a pro-gun activist advocated for the legislation by stalking state lawmakers, even appearing at their homes.
That's not a good way to get your piece of legislation passed.
This is why we can't have good things, folks. Jeez. On Friday, Texas House Speaker Dennis Bonnen announced plans to abandon the constitutional carry bill after the activist Chris McNutt. Seriously, his name is McNutt. Showed up at his doorstep and at the homes of 2 other lawmakers. McNutt, executive director of the nonprofit Texas Gun Rights, was reportedly outraged the bill failed to advance quickly through the legislature. so it wasn't moving fast enough to suit him. He posted a series of rants to his group's Facebook page complaining about the legislative inaction. He followed these posts with videos of himself visiting the neighborhoods of 2 Republican state lawmakers, Representatives Dustin Burrows of Lubbock and Four Price. What an odd first name. Fours, Four. Four Price of Amarillo. It's different.
Some weird names today.
Yeah. McNutt's social media activity prompted Texas state troopers to put Bonin's home under surveillance, the Houston Chronicle reports. That's how authorities were able to intercept the activist when he attempted to visit the speaker's home last week, while Bonin was nearly 200 miles away at the state capitol in Austin. Bonin's wife and teenage son were reportedly home at the time. That's why you don't do things like this, folks, because it involves their families.
There's a time and place.
Yeah. Friday, Bonin called McNutt's action gutless intimidation tactics. One fringe organization leaders disturbingly traveled over 700 miles in 24 hours just to visit the homes of lawmakers, knowing full well that members were hundreds of miles away in our capital while wives and children were alone, Bonin said in a statement. McNutt's actions seem to have rattled several state lawmakers who now say they no longer plan to move forward with the constitutional gun bill. Again, this is why we can't have good things, people. House Bill 357 would allow gun owners to carry a pistol either openly or concealed without a permit. In February, the chairman of the chair of Texas House Homeland Security Committee, Representative Pancho Navarez, said he planned to hold a hearing on the bill before the end of the legislative session. In light of recent events, however, Navarez says he has reconsidered. McNutt claims Bonin is guilty of fabricating a media hit against him and other grassroots advocates across Texas. If politicians like Speaker Dennis Bonin think they can show up at the doorsteps of Second Amendment supporters and make promises to earn votes in the election season, they shouldn't be surprised when we show up in their neighborhoods to insist they simply keep their promises in the legislative session, he said, according to the Dallas Morning News.
Could have just sent an email.
Yeah.
Or a letter.
Right.
A polite one, without any threats.
Like Bear said, there's a time and a place, folks.
Yeah, there really is. They're home with their families.
There's been a wave of so-called constitutional carry or permitless carry laws sweeping across the U.S. in recent years. The laws allow gun owners to carry firearms, concealed or not, anywhere in public without obtaining a permit or special training beforehand. As many as 20 states have considered measures that roll back restrictions on gun ownership. South Dakota became the latest state to enact such a law earlier this year and now allows its citizens to carry weapons without a permit. Lawmakers in both Kentucky and Oklahoma advanced measures that would remove requirements for permits and training in February. According to The Trace, a nonprofit news site that exclusively covers guns and gun violence, local grassroots activists in each state are largely driving the movement to expand concealed carry rights. In the view of many pro-gun rights activists, any limitation on a gun's owner's right to carry firearms, either in public spaces or private, is a clear violation of the Second Amendment. Lobbying success for constitutional carry legislation have empowered pro-gun rights to such an extent that their lobbying efforts have even begun to eclipse those of the National Rifle Association. The Trace's Adam Weinstein explains, while the nation's largest gun lobby champions the latest bills and its press releases, local lobbyists who take the NRA's absolutist rhetoric at face value find themselves chafing at its corporate model of working hand in glove with establishment politicians. The resulting friction has fed into the upheaval taking place within gun politics and American conservatism as a whole since the rise of the Tea Party, which has left the NRA frequently following rather than steering the emboldened extremes of its coalition. Activists in several states told The Trace that the NRA, which did not respond to requests for comments for this story, has not helped their cause In one state, they point to direct evidence that the NRA has undercut their proposals. The efforts of pro-gun activists are starting to bear fruit. Prior to 2010, only 2 states allowed concealed guns in public spaces without permits or specified training. Now more than a dozen have constitutional carry laws on the books. But as state lawmakers make clear this week, Texas likely won't join their number anytime soon. So, yeah, this fella kind of shot himself in the foot. No pun intended.
He's not doing anything for his cause, is he?
Yeah.
It's really out of order. And, Faithless in the chat there saying, lefties do this kind of crap all the time and they don't really get called out for it, which is true. And it's not just true of America, but it's also true of the UK as well. And I just spammed it in the chat there, It happened to Jacob Rees-Mogg when he was with his family out in public. It happened to Nigel Farage, and they physically attacked him whilst his... Hello, son.
Yeah, thank you, Cryptic. I don't think I read this. Alexis. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah,
my son has arrived. How can I help you?
I'm hungry because I'm very, 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 very hungry.
You're hungry because you're very, very, very hungry.
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense.
Here you go, mate. Have these.
Oh, thank you.
You're most welcome, Pepper. There you go.
Oh, gummy pepper, that's not it.
Right, close my door, please.
Okay, bye.
Sorry.
Yeah, folks, don't go to politicians and celebrities' homes and stuff. It's creepy. It's cringy, and it'll only get you in trouble.
Yeah, it will. It doesn't look good for your cause either, so behave.
No, it makes you look like a McNutt.
I
What better
love that that's
name
his
could
name.
he have? I mean, gosh, darn.
That is fantastic. That is
Oh,
fantastic. Should I read another article?
yeah, go right ahead. I'm going to grab me another Mountain Dew from over here, which
Roger
my wife
that.
has so graciously laid out for me since I'm bedridden.
Labour, this is obviously the left-wing party here in the United Kingdom, for those who don't know. Labour urges action over new Brunei anti-LGBT laws. Brunei should be chucked out of the Commonwealth if it does not revoke its anti-LGBT laws, Shadow Foreign Secretary Emily Thornberry. And yes, I have seen the news regarding this over the last week about them making it a capital offence to be a rug muncher or a bumder. The Southeast Asian nation introduced strict Islamic laws this week that make gay sex punishable by stoning to death. It's a bad way to go out. Dozens of protesters chanted "Shame on you" outside the Brunei-owned Dorchester Hotel in London on Saturday. Yeah, but where was Labour protesters for the Birmingham protest with the LGBT lessons in school? Eh?
Right. Right.
Foreign Secretary, yeah, yeah. Foreign Secretary Jeremy Hunt said he had expressed deep UK opposition to the new laws to Brunei's government, but the Foreign Office said threatening to kick countries out of the Commonwealth was not the best way to encourage Brunei to uphold its human rights obligations. I personally think so. Or we could just threaten to bomb them. I mean, that's a good way to get something done. Addressing the crowd outside the Dorchester, Ms. Thornberry said actions should have consequences, and Sultan Hassan Al Foreign of Brunei should be shunned until the anti-LGBT laws are revoked. Well, where's Labour complaining about, other Islamic countries doing this kind of thing? Because it's not just Brunei that does this kind of thing. It's Iran, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and so on and so forth.
Yep.
In fact, I'm fairly sure in Iran they force a sex change on you if you get caught bumming. Miss Thornberry and the Shadow Minister for Women and Equalities, Dawn Butler, on Friday wrote to the Foreign Secretary to call for the Prime Minister to take a leading role in condemning these laws and calling for a strong action to be taken. Well, if the Prime Minister is going to take, a stance on that, then she's also got to take the stance against Saudi Arabia, whom we sell weapons to. And that wouldn't be a good look,
right?
Would it? UK Prime Minister Theresa May is the current Commonwealth chair in office. Excuse me, a main leadership role in the association. Tyrannical regime. It's funny. I love how they're throwing all the shade at Brunei right now, but won't do it for other Islamic countries or Islamic doctrine, and they're not acknowledging the fact that it's Islamic doctrine.
It absolutely is.
They are dodging everything that they need to be calling out right now. Oh, that's funny. Gay rights campaigner Peter Tatchell, who organized a demonstration and is calling for a boycott of all the Sultan's companies, said there can be no normal business relations with an abnormal tyrannical regime like that of Brunei. What the Sultan has that's exactly the point, Faithless. Brunei has no power or influence, which means they can get away with calling them out. They couldn't get away with it if it was one of the major Arabic countries or Islamic nations. What the Sultan has done has introduced punishments the same as ISIS implemented in Iraq and Syria during its so-called caliphate, including brutal stoning to death of people convicted of homosexuality, adultery, and insulting the Prophet Muhammad. That's generally what it's like across the entirety of the Islamic world for the most part there, mate. He described the close relationship between the Queen and the Sultan as quite wrong, saying she should not collude and consort with dictators like the Sultan. More than 65,000 people had signed a petition on the UK's Parliament website on Saturday evening that called on the government to urgently call for an end to human rights violations against the LGBT community in Brunei. Talk show host Ellen DeGeneres, or Ellen Degenerate, and actor George Clooney, or Clowney, are among those urging the public to boycott luxury hotels owned by Brunei. Organizations including English National Ballet and the Financial Times have cancelled events at the Dorchester amid the backlash. Dorchester Collection, the company that manages 9 hotels, including the Park Lane venue, has said it does not tolerate any form of discrimination. On Saturday, the University of Oxford joined the University of Aberdeen and King's College London. King's College London is the college where Sargon held a talk and was attacked, well, kind of attacked by a member of Antifa, if you remember, in saying that it would reconsider its decision to award an honorary degree to the Sultan of Brunei. Mr. Hunt said on Thursday he had spoken to Brunei Foreign Minister Datu Erwan to express deep UK opposition shared by many to the introduction of Sharia law. If we're going to take that stance, people, then we need to do it across the board.
Yep.
Because Brunei is not the only country that does this kind of crap.
No. And what real good is this boycott going to do? Because only the very rich could afford hotels in Brunei. So yeah,
this is stupid.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how they think. The Christian right gets blasted all the time for their anti-LGBT, elemental P, rest of the alphabet beliefs. But we're not wanting. They're not wanting to throw them off of roofs and stone them to death. I don't get it.
Yeah, I completely agree with Chaos Eve there. They don't do it across the board, though. That would require them to give up too much. They just do enough to virtue signal. Of course.
Hey, Chaos, haven't seen you in a bit.
I have 2 more left, but if you have anything else to go.
No, I'm out of stories. That was my last one. I thought it would take us longer to discuss them than it did.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Okay, next one. And of course, this is the Grand National, the big horsing race, happened today in the UK. And for those who don't know, my wife, Vanilla Bear, is a big opposer to this kind of thing. She loves horses. She grew up around them. She done equine at college, and she used to look after horses a lot as a hobby and help her friend out. I even went to go help her. And there's an article here regarding that. And my son returns. Can I help you?
Yeah.
How can I help you? How have you managed to get chocolate on your elbow?
Elbow.
There's chocolate on your elbow.
Oh.
Right, go. Hold on. Sorry, mate.
No problem.
Right. Here's some wet wipes. Wipe yourself down and take your butt back to bed, please.
I'm now thirsty now.
Oh, you're thirsty now? I'm Friday. Pleased to meet you. Go get your bottle then. Come on. And before anyone says anything, no, it's not a baby bottle. It's a sports bottle that he likes to drink out of. Go get your bottle.
Okay, it's off.
And wipe the chocolate off your chest as well. How did you get on your chest?
There's a boy that really gets into his chocolate.
He likes his chocolate. He does.
Okay.
You still got it there. How did you get it there? Right, come here, you lunatic. Right, go put that in the bin. Right, and go get your bottle.
My own bottle.
Hey, I like chocolate too.
Right, okay, while he's going to do that, I'll start reading this bottle. What he was saying about bottle.
Look up my daughter's head. Your internet sister.
Yeah, I saw a bottle. Swore he's saying butthole. No, bottle. Bottle, not butthole. I'll start reading this article then. Why do horses die at the Grand National? Why is course so dangerous? Some good English there from the Express. 2 horses have died at the Grand National 2019 on Ladies' Day, once again raising questions about the sport's safety. But why do horses die at the Grand National, and why is the Aintree course so dangerous? And what I'll do is I shall share screen so that you can read it to the audience while I go and fill up this bottle up for Alfie.
Dad, I just farted on the stairs.
You farted on the stairs?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. They are Bloodwing if you want to read it.
Well, I will probably wait until you come back because my old eyes won't read that, buddy.
Roger that. I'll be back in a sec.
All right. Hey,
come on, get off my chair.
How's it going?
Move your backside. Come on.
How's it going while we're having this Alfieception? I would read that article for him, but my old eyes can't even see it. It looks like little bitty ant trails to me. So Blind Press says my 2-year-old's dancing on the stairs is gonna pull a ranting monkey if he's not careful. Oh, don't do that. Don't do that. I don't know what to do with Monkey. He needs to live in a 1-floor house.
Right, I've returned.
Welcome back.
Thank you very much. My apologies.
Mike Savage says, Alfie is now hyperactive. Must be bedtime. Yeah, I assume that it is, and he's also had chocolate. That probably doesn't help.
Now, he's exactly like me. He never runs out of energy. Well, I mean, I do run out of energy, but like he has a little bit more. But yeah, I'm like that. I get excited at night as well. So I am a night owl after all. Horses, Forest des Eagles, and and Crucial Role were okay, that's the name of them. Were killed in separate races on day 2 of the Grand National 2019 after suffering fatal falls. Forest des Eagles, ridden by Derek Fox, broke his leg while jumping in the final fence of the Topham Chase. And then a male Crucial Role fell later in the day while being ridden by Harry Skelton in the Mild May Novices Chase. Both horses were put down by veterinary professionals. It makes me wonder whether they used a shotgun or whether they used the injection. The The tragic deaths. I don't really like being a night owl. I'm a bit of both, really. I can start I can start the day super early as well.
Yeah.
The tragic deaths were condemned by animal rights charity PETA. You know, fuck off, PETA.
Yeah, exactly.
You're in no position to be condemning anything. Well, I know what I've been told what you fuckers get up to. Just killing animals en masse, which is campaigning to get ITV to stop broadcasting the event. Yeah, only has the one child. I have two children, but the older one is my stepchild. PETA director Elisa Allen said this kind of carnage and the revelations concerning how many horses are ground up are precisely why people are turning away from horse racing. More than 200 horses died on British racetracks in 2018. Oh, wow. Why do horses die at the Grand National? Why is course so dangerous? The Grand National is regarded as one of the toughest race courses in the world for several reasons. Firstly, the race is not flat, but a steeplechase event, meaning horses have to navigate ditches and fences while running at full pelt. The grueling course is also one of the longest races found anywhere in the world, with competitors having to jump 16 obstacles over 4.5 miles. This means horse fatalities are higher than in typical races. Dr. Mark Kennedy, senior lecturer in animal welfare at Anglia Ruskin University, said the risk of horses fatalities in a steeplechase is about 6 per 1,000 starts. I don't really want to read any more about this because it just goes on and on.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. No, you fuck off, Burr.
Yeah. Who was it here now? I hate it when my chat jumps when I'm trying to read something. Well, never mind, because now I can't spot it again. Don't get old, people. Don't get old. Oh, there it is. Bodacious T. Russians are using their mind tricks on the horses again.
Yeah, must be. Yeah.
These are not the horses you're looking for.
I have one last one to go through.
Go ahead.
And it's from the Independent. Let us vote. New campaign launched to give everyone living in UK the right to vote in elections.
Everyone?
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder if they mean young people and migrants. I wonder. MPs say existing laws that stop 10 million people voting should shame us as a society. Okay. A new campaign has been launched to give everyone living in the UK the right to vote in elections and referendums, with MPs saying current voting laws should shame us as a society. The major change would see all UK residents, plus British citizens living abroad, allowed to vote in general elections regardless of their citizenship. Commonwealth and Irish nationals are currently the only non-Britons allowed to vote in general elections and referendums, while EU citizens can vote in local and European elections. UK citizens who have lived abroad for more than 15 years are also not allowed to vote. Campaigners said current law means 10 million UK residents and Britons overseas are disqualified from voting. I wonder. I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah.
I figure if you leave, I mean, if you leave, you're still a British citizen.
Yeah. I mean, here in the States, as I understand it, if you live abroad, you can participate in elections. However, that also means that you can also be taxed.
Yeah.
Even though you live abroad. So, yeah.
The Let Us Vote campaign, which has the backing of more than a dozen MPs and peers, is seeking new legislation to extend the voting franchise, which has not changed significantly since the voting age was lowered from 21 to 18 in 1969. It has been launched by campaign groups, the 3 Million, representing EU nationals in the UK, British in Europe, which represents UK citizens in the EU, and anti-Brexit group, Another Europe is Possible. The campaign says it is strictly neutral on Brexit and party politics. Yeah, cheers for that. Why is this becoming an issue now, huh?
Yeah.
While Brexit's kicking off. In an open letter published in the Independent, supporters included MPs, peers, and NGO leaders. My shock, try to imagine it. Wrote, the outcome of the next few weeks in politics could determine the course of our lives for decades to come. But many of the people who are most affected by the current situation, migrants living in the UK and UK citizens living abroad, have never been offered the chance to have a stake in our democracy. Well, I mean, migrants don't have the right to fucking vote. They have to become British citizens to get.
Nor should they.
Yeah, exactly. Nor should they be allowed to. Nor do I particularly care what happens to them.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Brexit's far more important.
Yeah, the timing of this is a little suspect. You know, you've got Brexit on the horizon here.
I honestly, I can't see our government just booting all of the Europeans out of Britain. Yeah, people that have traveled and traveled through our open borders and whatnot, because we're part of the EU. I can't see us just booting them all out.
No.
That would be ridiculous to suggest otherwise. Whatever our views on Brexit and party politics, we are united in the belief that it is fundamentally wrong that so many millions of people whose lives will be deeply affected by developments at Westminster are currently denied a vote. The letter was signed by Labour MPs Lloyd Russell Moyle. I'm not reading all these names because no one will know who they are, but you do have a super chat.
Yeah, thank you, James Colley, for the donation. Live with abroad, don't let her vote. # repeal 19th. And Cynical Lindsay has a point. So does this mean somebody like Shamima Begum is allowed to vote?
Well, I mean, her situation's a bit different. Also, fairly sure she's too young to vote anyway. This does sound quite subversive, in my opinion. The fact that millions of people who live in this country and have made lives here are denied a vote in how they are governed ought to shame us as a society. Well, no, not really. If they're not full British citizens, then no.
Yeah, I mean, and of course, like everybody else knows, that this is a big, hot topic and has been for some time here in the United States with our immigrant situation, especially at our southern border. And no, I don't think that they should, immigrants, people that are not citizens should have a vote. That's one of the perks. That's one of the rights that you get with American citizenship. And I would suggest that should be the same in the UK.
Yeah, and every other country in the world.
Yeah.
Let me. The past few years have taught us that not just public services, but fundamental rights and the right to live in the place you call home can be threatened and undermined by politicians who claim to speak for us all. Generally how politics works, mate.
Yeah.
This period has also taught us how inadequate Britain's democratic institutions are. I would say that maybe the House of Lords are, because they aren't elected, is certainly something worth looking at. MPs have a responsibility to fight for the rights of those who have been silenced, and that is what I intend to do. No. And that's what I have to say about that.
Yeah. I just don't understand. Well, I do, but all this, and it's not just in your country, but it's in mine. And you get these regressives and so forth that are so hot and so keen on people that are not citizens voting. I get why, because they know that they'll probably get their votes, if they do that. That the regressives and the leftists would probably get their votes, but it just doesn't make any good sense. If you want to have a say in what goes on where you live, then become a citizen.
Yes, a good way to go about it.
Yeah.
It tells the people of that country that you are willing to put in the work to become a citizen, and you're committed to living in that country.
If I for whatever reason, lived in, let's just pull something out, lived in France. I wouldn't expect that they would allow me to vote in their elections.
Yeah.
Wouldn't even expect it.
Yeah, exactly.
But, thank you, Cryptic, for the donation. Surprising hearing you. It's good workout noise. Hearing you complain.
Okay. Well, we have 10 minutes left of the stream, Bloodwing, so I think we have story time.
Yeah, which we didn't do last. I realized after the stream was over, because we talked so much about the easy mode on gamings, which took us late. But I had said then that I might tell a story about my uncle, who we call Chicken Charlie. And it's, I mean, wasn't a fantastic event. It's just an amusing little story.
Okay.
When I was a much younger man, I used to love to fish, to go fishing. In fact, for quite a while, I would carry my fishing tackle in my trunk, so I was ready to go at a moment's notice. You know, whenever I got opportunity, I was out there fishing. I love to fish. I'm one of them crazy people that I don't even care if I catch anything. I just love the act of fishing. It's peaceful. You can get in touch with your own thoughts, and it's just a good way to level out the chaos that is life. But I used to go fishing, and this is many years ago when my kids were very small. There were let's see, my dad and one of my cousins, and two of my cousins, and my uncle Charlie decided to go. We were down at the cabin that you've heard us talk about before.
Yeah.
And we decided about a mile away is a dam, and we would often fish in the spillway of the dam. And we decided to go down there night fishing. Now, if you've never been night fishing, it's completely different than day fishing. It's just a completely different experience. And you're just out there on the shore of whatever body of water you are, fighting the bugs with some lanterns and a cooler and nothing but the sounds of the night around. And it's just pitch. You're out in the middle of nowhere. It's pitch dark, Random Americans, to stop your swearing. I thought somebody bring that up when I said that we were at the dam. But anyway, we're down there, and it's completely dark. You can only see what is in the circle of light from your lantern, right? So imagine that. We're out there fishing, and we're just talking, and you tend to talk in a very low tone because it's nighttime, and you're talking. And all of a sudden, in the weeds, just outside of the circle of light, we start hearing a bunch of rustling. There's something moving around over there. And Charlie's like, "What's that? What's that? What is that?" And like, I don't know, And then we stop and listen, and it just gets louder and louder. Whatever it is getting closer. And you could look at Charlie, you could see he was getting visibly nervous.
Yeah.
So we're all turned around, we're watching the spot in the weeds. And, everybody gets quiet. Nobody says a thing. We're watching this spot in the weeds, and out comes this big raccoon. Big full-grown raccoon. And if you've ever seen a full-grown raccoon, they're massive. They can get really big. And it comes out, and we start to turn around to tell Charlie it's okay, it's just a raccoon. And we immediately all bust out laughing because Charlie's on the edge of the spillway. His toes are in the water, and he's swinging his arms, but stopping himself like he can't quite decide whether to jump in the water to get away from whatever's coming to get him or not. He's just, yeah, oh, Chicken Charlie, good Lord. He's a sweet guy. I love him. We pick on him a lot because he is so nervous, but
bless him.
Yeah, so it would probably been funner if you'd have been there and seen it. But
yeah, no, that's a good story, mate. Good story.
So that leaves us with a few minutes. I guess my clock's off by a couple of minutes. We discovered just before the stream.
Yep.
So question time.
Mm-hmm. 5 minutes of questions from the chat, guys.
Blind Press says Pinklow and a buddy were night fishing one time and were surrounded in the distance by a pack of coyotes. They heard the pack take out a fawn. Yeah. It can be very peaceful, but it can also be nerve-wracking if you're really not sure what it is making that noise over there.
I was getting really nostalgic today, Bloodbang.
Yeah.
I was looking through my old Navy pics.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I deleted my old Facebook, and you can when you delete it, you can download all your pictures and stuff, and I've got them in a folder, and I was just going through them all and seeing all the different pictures. Excuse me, pictures of me with my rifle, being armed sentry duty, pictures of me being swimmer of the watch, look like a giant bloody orange. Pictures of us out on a run ashore as well, getting really nostalgic, you know.
Opinionated Gulf City Scotsman says, would either of you be willing to be a guest on one of my upcoming streams? Absolutely, as long as I can. You'll have to let me know ahead of time, or at least enough time to make sure I can be there, as long as it's not a really late night stream. I used to be a night owl like Bear until I got old.
I'm not really a night owl now, to be honest, either.
Now, come about 11 o'clock at night, and my eyes are drooping. But I'm up at 4 a.m.
I would say I'm both, kinda. I mean, I'm not really a night owl anymore like I used to be, like a year and a half ago. Like if I do stay up late, like past midnight and stuff, maybe to 1 or 2 in the morning, I'll still be up at like 7 or 8, and that kills me. I hate doing that.
Says, night fishing with my grandpa was best memories of my life. I've got a lot of great memories, not only night fishing, but just fishing in general. Give you a real quick bonus story. When I was a little bitty kid, we're talking maybe 3, maybe 4, somewhere in that area, little kid. My dad took me fishing, and he baited my hook and threw it out there for me, you know, because I was too little to really cast it on my own, and set me down and handed me the pole, and then turned around to take care of his own pole. And then he hears a splash, and he looks around, and I'm sitting out in the water up to my neck, still holding the pole, sitting in the water. And you know, my nickname is Buddy. I answer to that more than I do my real name. And he says, Buddy, what are you doing? And I replied, I'm fishing, Dad. I'm fishing. So yeah, lot of good memories fishing. It's just a really relaxing pastime.
Oh dear. Trunks out, antidepressants cause insomnia. Yeah, that's why I'm not on antidepressants anymore. They were fucking with me too much.
That reminds me. I just got a letter. You're all aware of, you know, I'm trying to get my disability and all that. And I'm a little concerned that this recent surgery, because it has made such a difference, is probably, that was about a 6, maybe. Soul Visor, yes, I do have some hunting stories. Maybe I'll tell another time. Some of them involve Chick and Charlie. But Chaosy, I'm surprised you didn't get eaten by a paleosaur. It's an old joke, isn't it? Nah, I get it. But you're aware, you know, I'm a little bit concerned at this recent surgery, because it has made such a difference in my getting around that it might get in the way of that and disallow me now. But anyway, I got a letter when I got home from the hospital. We got letters. I had 2 of them on the same day from the disability, from SSA. And one of them's telling me I had to go to such and such place for a doctor's appointment for a physical, and I have to show up, and I had to sign it, send it back saying I got it. The other one was the same thing, except now they're sending me to a psychiatrist.
Are they?
Yeah. And I'm like, I never said there was anything wrong with my head. But okay, you're paying for it. It's our government at work, folks.
Okay. Whatever, I guess.
Straight to this mail says, glad you're doing well, Grumpy. I am. I'm just getting antsy. I want to get up off here. I want to get up off of my back and quit having to sleep on my back. And I don't normally sleep on my back. That's just something I've had to do since the surgery.
Well, if there's no more questions, guys.
Yeah. We're at that time. It is 4:31 EST. So thank you, chat, for coming out and supporting the stream. Thank you for those that gave for your donations. Chaos says we're never going to see blood again. The psychiatrist is going to lock him up. Probably. Probably. But thank you for the donations. Bear, thank you as always. Is there anything that you want to share?
Yeah, as I told you earlier, I did a video on my second channel. Alex had a lot of fun making it, kind of ripping into Prince Harry over the Fortnite thing. There it is, guys. Please go give it a watch and let me know what you thought about the video.
Yeah, and give me just a second. My Streamlabs dashboard had stopped functioning and I didn't realize it. So let me make sure I did not miss any super chats that or anything that came through Streamlabs. Nope. Looks like everything's fine and good. All right. So anyway, that's it for this episode of Redneck Radio. We will be on the air live come next Tuesday at 2:30 EST, also Thursday and Saturday. And as always, get out of my yard.
Bye, guys. Have a great weekend.